It's the British Grand Prix, which means F1 is coming home.
One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights, and it's go, 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 go!
Hello everyone and welcome to the 5 Red Lights. My name is Aaron and today we are previewing the British Grand Prix. We're talking about why Silverstone is just so golden. And then after I've discussed that, I'm going to throw in my predictions for the weekend. Of course, we've got the sprint race, qualifying, whatever it is supposed to be called, on Saturday. So qualifying is now on Friday, which means Friday is more interesting. And then we've got the sprint thing on Saturday afternoon. And then we have the Grand Prix itself on Sunday. So I'm going to be predicting all three of those outcomes. But first of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me today. And if you haven't already, check out some of my other videos. I've done a selection of my favourite Lewis Hamilton pole positions. I've spoken about whether qualifying should be changed in its format for safety rather than entertainment. So go and check some of those out on the channel as well. And if you enjoy it, leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe if you enjoy the other content as well. Let's dive into why Silverstone is just so golden. So what makes Silverstone so golden? Number one, it's a home race for many of the teams. While it's been well known for a long time that Aston Martin or Racing Point or Force India have been based in Silverstone itself since the days of Jordan, Silverstone is a home race for many of the F1 teams, despite their parent companies sometimes being based in other parts of Europe. Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Williams, Haas and Alpine all build and design their cars in Great Britain. If you go back through the annals of history in F1, teams that have come and gone with greater or lesser successes have also been based in the UK. Tyrrell, Brabham, Cooper, Arrows, Benetton, Manor, Caterham and Lotus, just to name quite a few, were all licensed in the UK. And while licensing of a team is often found on a global scale nowadays, the teams generally base their operations in the UK. Number two, circuit layout. The Silverstone layout has often been a fast and challenging track. Even in the early days, in its simplest form, it was a challenge for even the best to conquer. Of course, the cars were not nearly as advanced as they are today. The track has regularly evolved to keep up with modern cars and safety requirements of the current times. The 2010 layout change, ahead of the repositioning of the start and finish line in 2011, was well received, even though we did lose the challenge of Bridge Corner. What is more, the change in car design regulations have changed the characteristics required to be successful at the track. Sheer aerodynamic performance is no longer the ultimate winner in Northampton, and the efficiency of the said aero coupled with power from the engine have had a greater influence since 2017. Number 3. The fans. While it might sound biased as an Englishman to say this, but the British fans are generally regarded as among the best in motorsport. Often applauded for being knowledgeable, passionate and also supportive to all the teams and drivers, yes, even Nikita Mazepin, possibly. The British F1 fans make sure the British Grand Prix is held in good spirits, even if the weather is its usual unpredictable self. After a week where English fans have not shown themselves in the best possible light with the Euro 2020 final, the British Grand Prix gives us a second chance to show the best of British. So there you have 3 reasons why I think Silverstone is just so golden. And having been there myself, it is a fantastic place to be. I'm mildly jealous of everyone who is going to get to experience the British Grand Prix this weekend. So let's jump into some predictions for this weekend. Of course, we've got the F1 Sprint, the first ever sprint qualifying race. So that's going to be interesting. Some divided opinion on how that's going to work. Personally, I think it's just going to be slightly boring, to be honest. I don't hold out much hope for it, given the cars at the moment. And it's difficult to overtake, and you need a big offset in tyres or pace inherently. And given that the Pirelli tyres are so sensitive to tyre overheating, you're not going to see much difference unless someone takes a gamble and starts on the theoretically slower, harder tyre. Of course, taking one away from their race allocation perhaps. then they can push harder, which means they can build the temperature, but of course they won't have the ultimate pace. But if everyone else is having to manage their tyres, could they force them into using said tyres a bit more and therefore coming back through the field towards the end? It is only 17 laps though, so you're going to have to do pretty well if anyone's on soft tyres or mediums. I think if you're on mediums against hards, you should be alright on the mediums, but if someone was, say, run the softs, then we'll see. Or they might just all run the hard tyre. We'll see. We'll wait and see. But before that, we have qualifying Friday evening, which is 6 o'clock local time, I believe. Now, that might change things because generally in the UK it's a little bit cooler in the evening. It starts to cool down, and generally qualifying is held 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when it's pretty hot still, even on a good day here in the UK. So with that in mind, cars that generate heat in their tyres quite quickly will be in a good position. So this will be Red Bull and Ferrari, to name a couple. So with that in mind, my Friday pole position, which doesn't actually get awarded pole position this weekend in the stats, which is ridiculous, by the way. So Max Verstappen is going to qualify fastest on Friday ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So that'll be your front row for the first F1 sprint. And in third place is going to be Charles Leclerc, because that boy knows how to qualify. And the Ferrari gets heat into its tyres really well. We saw that in Monaco, where it was able to generate heat, and of course in Baku. And it's good in slow speed sections. Now, there's not a lot of slow speed, but remember last year, Charles ran that really slippery downforce setup and ended up third on the podium after all the tyre blow-ups. So Ferrari were able to keep their tyres alive because they weren't putting as much load into them. Now, this year's car is going to be quick through the slower speed stuff, so you're going to look through Village and the Loop and the Brooklands Luffield section, and also coming out of Club and Vale in the final sequence of corners. So Ferrari will be looking to maximise those and perhaps go with a skinny downforce setting to maximise their top speed on the straight, and that might just propel Charles into a very good position for the sprint. Now, I'm not going to do just the winner for the sprint. I'm going to do a top three for that. Now, I think Verstappen and Hamilton will finish first and second in the sprint. So 3 points for Max, 2 points for Lewis. And, it wouldn't be a top three with those two unless Valtteri Bottas was joining them. So I think Valtteri will finish the sprint race in third. I'm going to guess he's going to start fourth, and then he'll find a way past Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari in the sprint. Moving to Sunday, and this is where things are going to change a little bit. I'm tipping Mercedes for a 1-2 finish. Hamilton will take an 8th win at Silverstone, and he'll be backed up by his buddy Bottas in second. Verstappen is going to drop to third. Now, part of that is hope. As a Lewis Hamilton fan and as a fan of the sport, it might sound funny, but we do need Mercedes to win a race at the moment, because Max is threatening to just run away with this at the moment. And really, if you want someone to chase him down, you don't want anyone other than Lewis Hamilton on that job. So we need Lewis to pick up some momentum with a win here in Silverstone, and that'll close everything up. And heading to Budapest and into the summer break, it will leave hopefully everything on a bit of a knife edge in terms of which way it's going to go for the rest of the season. Mercedes are bringing an upgrade. Now, I'm hoping their upgrade works, but they're going to have limited time to get on top of it. They've got one practice session before they have to lock in their setup ahead of qualifying Friday evening, which they then have to keep through the sprint, and then they have to keep it in the race. So it's going to be tricky for them, but if anyone can, Mercedes can, and I'm tipping them for the race win. I'm tipping Lewis Hamilton to win the race ahead of Valtteri Bottas, with Max Verstappen in third. And my bold prediction, well, you've already seen something quite bold, and I'm going to stick with that. My bold prediction is that Charles Leclerc will qualify in the top 3 on Friday. And Ferrari will look pretty strong in qualifying. I think Carlos Sainz will be up there. They'll both qualify ahead of McLaren, but I think McLaren will come through either in the sprint and in the race itself. The sprint race and the race itself, it offers more opportunity for a car that races well rather than qualifies well to enhance their grid position for Sunday and then their ultimate finishing position. So look out for Lando and potentially Daniel coming through the field back towards Ferrari. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here and check out my other videos. There's going to be lots of F1 2021 game content coming your way. I love that game. It's literally my favourite game on something that's not my laptop, which I play lots of different things on there. But for PlayStation 4, it's the Formula 1 game, and I play that pretty religiously on there. So I'm going to be either streaming or recording onto YouTube some of my adventures on there. Perhaps a My Team career mode. We'll wait and see how I decide to do that. If you play PS4, leave your gamer tag down in the bottom in the comments, and we can potentially do some collaborations with lots of other people online. That is all for today. My name's Aaron. This has been the 5 Red Lights, and when the 5 Red Lights go out at Silverstone, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.